I think what I'm most interested in is what I think of as motivation, and it's easiest for me to understand it in what I consider to be, I think it's my biggest problem in terms of a profession, because I also think of that in terms of my identity. And so specifically,
identity from whose perspective? That's a huge question.
And I can see that because when I'm thinking about a profession, and specifically the profession that I've been in and feel very much stuck in, is hospitality. And so that's very much about, it's very much about providing for other people, but at the same time, art has come up a couple times already, and I believe that I'm supposed to be an artist, or that I am an artist, and I think that I believe that. But I would say that it all feels very confusing, and my specific question is, why is it that with all the knowledge that I've accumulated and how much I understand about creation and how much I practice creation, for instance, if I'm going into a shift at the bar and I believe that it's going to be chaotic, because the place I work in is sometimes wonderfully chaotic in the amount of creativity it allows for. So I see that I'm being creative in that environment, and I know that's important. But why do I feel a sense of, all right, I'm going to prepay for my shift tonight, so that even if there's chaos going all around me, I can be a little oasis of order, and then other people will appreciate that. And so I see the way in which that works. And yet, something as simple as getting together with someone to make music, it's like there's anti-motivation against that.
Well, you've come back around to the word that we want to start with. You started with it and came back around to it, and we want to start with it. We can answer the question simply, and then we'll work through the details of it. It is a misunderstanding on your part about, and it is the difference between motivation and inspiration. And inspiration comes from what we talk about all the time, preparing the grid and then following the inspired action. So just for example, in the example that you gave us just now, so you say, I'm going to work and I am aware that it has the potential of being chaotic, or it has the potential of feeling like a flow where we're all co-creating wonderfully together, all of us who work together as well as the people who are playing with us in the environment. So as you think about that from a motivational standpoint, then you're trying to sort of psych yourself up, which it's almost like trying to motivate yourself into using the process that we are teaching here.
Exactly.
And it comes from a sharper awareness of what you don't want than a known resolve of what you do want. That's all that it is. We would say that most people appreciate, Esther certainly appreciates people who at least try, whether in the vortex or not. She likes to see someone try. But we're not that big on that. We're not too excited about somebody trying. You see so many people just going through the motions of things. Sometimes people just do things because somebody told them to do them, and there's no connection between the behavior or action that they're offering and the outcome that they're seeking, because it's not inspired, you see. Where if you spend just a little bit of time, we're talking about a few days or weeks, where you are deliberately, in many moments in a day, stopping and asking yourself the question, setting it up for yourself in this way. Okay, I get it. I put a whole bunch of stuff in my vortex and it wants to come to me. And the source is lining it up. I get that. My singular work, as I move through my day, is to prepare my grid as best I can, not only for outcomes, but for journeys. Not only for manifested results, but for feelings. Not just for statues and monuments and empires, but for life's work, for life's party. So I know it's in the vortex. What am I doing with my grid now? What am I doing with my grid now? What am I doing with my grid now? And as that becomes a more pressing intention, and so you discover general, go general, go general, go general, go general, because it's the best you can do. What begins to happen is you do such a good job with your grid that things start flowing to you, and then you start making the connection. Oh, I totally did that. Oh, I totally did that. Oh, I totally finally let that in. Oh, as you start making that connection, and then you start realizing that that's what inspiration is, then you find yourself not even wanting to do those things you're supposed to do, but wanting to do those things that you feel like doing. You can reach the place where you can live, for the most part, in an inspired way. Now, Esther would argue with us about that a little bit, or has, not so much now. So she'll feel an inspired moment about, for example, scheduling an event like this. And she'll feel an inspired moment about where to have it. And it's easy to do because they've had many wonderful times here. It's an expectation of a wonderful outcome. And then later, often over a year later, comes the time for all of them and for all of you to make your way to the event, to make your way there. So not only did the inspiration come in the planning stages, the inspiration came to think about it. The inspiration came to plan for it. The inspiration came to actually book and hold the space. The inspiration comes to buy the airline tickets. The inspiration comes to plan the meal that you will eat in a little bit. The inspiration keeps coming. But what we want to call your attention to is how life-giving each of those moments is. In other words, that's what makes up your world. Anybody who's doing anything because they're supposed to do it is missing the essence of life. Anybody who's doing something because it feels good to do it is finding the essence of life. So what you're wanting to find here, you're in essence saying, I want to make sure that I choose for my life's work something that has the potential of really satisfying me as it comes. And we want to say that's not something that's guaranteed, even if you are on the trail of your life's work. You could be born to be, you could have been born intending to do that. And if you haven't somewhere along your trail come to an understanding that how you feel moment by moment matters, and you haven't shown yourself in all arenas of your life, not just in the creative arena of your life that you call art, how you can bring yourself into alignment, if you haven't learned to manage your grid relative to this and this and this and this, you're not going to do a very good job of managing your grid relative to this subject of what you're going to do with your life's work. You see what we're getting at?
I do.
So if we were standing in any of your physical shoes, we would make our life's work preparing our grid in this moment. That would be about as specific as we would be, because we would say, the details of my life's work, some of them were in the vortex before I was born. I put them there. Some of them I put there when I was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I put a whole bunch of them there yesterday. In other words, I've been putting my intentions there for my life's work, and all of the data, all of the details, all of the specifics are there to surprise and delight me in endless combining ways. But my true work is to prepare my grid right here and now, which means, in the broadest and most important of terms, I am one who loves. I'm one who loves you. I'm one who loves me. I'm one who loves life. I'm one who laughs. I'm one who's easy. I'm one who trusts. I'm one who expects well-being. I'm one who anticipates good things. I'm one who feels blessed. I'm one who feels my worthiness. I've proven it to myself over and over again. I'm in the middle of good things all the time. I am the center of the universe. Everyone and everything around me is conspiring to make this moment even better. That's the preparation of the grid. And if you make that what matters, everything else will just fall into place. The inspiration that you think you're looking for, that you were calling motivation, the inspiration that you're looking for about the details will surface. Because You get to choose the details. You get to choose how it looks. You get to choose what it is. You get to choose how big it is. You get to choose even how other people observe it. You get to choose your identity. You create your own reality, and you get to choose your identity. You get to control the perspective and the perception that the world has of you, because through living life, this is big, we've not been here before, because through living life, you've put all of those details of how you want to be perceived into your vortex. You are the creator of all of that, you see. It's just that you go about it in a much simpler way than you have ever imagined.
Why am I not more excited about that?
Because details make energy move faster. The more general you are in the beginning, the more your logic tells you that with the specifics it will move faster, and with the general it will slow down. But the distinction that we want to make here is you put the fast-moving specifics into the vortex, and when you find that general place that isn't contradicting them, then those details can move into your experience. And as they do, the details, the excitement comes with the allowance. So here, we can paint this picture for you very clearly. So you put everything and anything and everyone that you will ever want into your vortex, all queued up, ready to deliver themselves to you at the precise moment in which you allow it, with the precision of a perfectly unfolding life experience. And let's say you didn't know it, so you didn't let it flow, and you didn't know it, so you didn't let it flow, and you didn't know it, so you didn't let it flow. So you had to try to motivate yourself, and as you motivated yourself, you stumbled on some alignment, and so it felt pretty good, but it was mediocre at best. So you wanted it, but you didn't let it flow, and you wanted it, but you didn't let it flow, and you wanted it, but you didn't let it flow. And then you came across this concept of going general. So you did a little more meditating, you did a little more things that quieted your mind. You got on some rampages of appreciation, yes, which are more specific, but mostly you just went general when things were bothering you, because you came to understand that everything that you want would come to you and would be coming to you, would be coming in a steady stream of inspiration that would surprise and delight you, except for that thing that you do, which is blocking it, which is always accompanied by negative emotion. So you've decided that you are going to do something about the negative emotion, because you now understand that the negative emotion is the indicator that in that moment you're doing the blocking, you're doing the not allowing, you're doing the resisting. So you feel some negative emotion and you go general, and you feel some more negative emotion and you go general. It doesn't matter what the topic is, you go general. It doesn't matter how big or important or unimportant it is, you go general. You just keep going general because you want to do two things. You want to soothe the way you feel, but you want to prepare the grid. You're wanting to soothe and prepare, soothe and prepare, soothe and prepare. It's kind of boring. It's not very motivating because you're not getting very specific, but you do it anyway because you understand that the only thing that's preventing this stuff from flowing out there where you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it is that you've got a contradictory vibration going on, which is always accompanied by negative emotion. So you're soothing it, soothing it, soothing it, and preparing the grid. And then, now the level of your grid has raised to the level of your vortex, and now it starts flowing. And at first, it's slow, it's steady though. It's coming, and as it comes, it gains momentum, and the ideas that thrill and surprise and delight you begin occurring in your experience. In other words, the momentum comes once you get the blockage out of the way. We've never liked the word blockage in this context. It seemed appropriate to speak it in that way. There is really no blockage, but there is hindrance, there is resistance. Really good. Didn't you think that was good? We'll have more time to visit with you throughout the seminar, with all of you. Don't worry. There's nothing that will be not addressed. We have lots of time, and we're off to a very good start. Good time for a segment of lunch.